Now, what's the funniest thing that we've been talking about the access media, and to a lot of people who would like to defend movies like The Last Jedi and Captain Marvel, the whole idea of the access media being in Disney's pockets is a conspiracy theory to them. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe that their movie was either mediocre or trash, and that the access media gave it positive ratings in order to keep their access and to maintain their access. They don't want to believe that. And I even have a video on this channel using audio that was gathered by Data Racer from Twitter. And in this video, you have in this video and audio, whatever, you have people in the access media confessing that this is going on. But of course, you don't have people who want to defend these movies wanting to accept that reality. Now, Khristian Harloff is one of these people from Collider who, in my opinion, have slowly but surely revealed themselves to be also in Disney's pockets because they are part of the access media. They give people also. I can't leave Jai Campia out. He needs to be mentioned. Um, they'll give movies. I truly don't believe that they like some of these movies as much as they say they do. They do it in order so that they can keep their access. They can get their early access to things, benefits and stuff. And here we have Khristian Harloff going off because he didn't get to go to the opening of Galaxy's Edge, which is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and Disney World. Is it Disney World or Disneyland? I think it's Disney World. And he goes absolutely nuts. And his it's really kind of embarrassing to really watch. It's really cringeworthy, but it's just interesting though to see this guy. I'm going to get to this image in a second, but yeah, I get to that in a second. It's really interesting to see this guy go off about not being invited to Galaxy's Edge after quote busting his ass for 5 years, being a fan for 5 years or whatever. I guess that's the duration of the new sequel trilogy that's been out. And yeah, I'd be pretty pissed off too if I had to say a bunch of terrible movies were good for so long, and to be a shill. He claims he isn't, but come on, man. uh, it's pretty much out there how Collider works and how people like Collider are just basically in Disney's pockets. So it's kind of hard to claim not to be a shill now, especially when you're getting angry and acting entitled to access, and that's what he's doing. He was on his program arguing with the producer, and the whole thing is because he was bitter and upset that somebody else got to go, somebody else got the access, and he didn't. The access that he thought he deserved for being a shill. And so back to this access media again, the shill media. They When I look at situations where the critics and the audience are far apart on issues, uh, I see a situation where Rotten Tomatoes, Fandango, and um, any other source for some of these critics who are aggregating critiques or reviews from access media are gathering this biased perspective, are gathering these biased opinions, and it just so happens, and especially in Alita's case, that and yeah, Alita and Star Wars: The Last Jedi, that these biased opinions were completely against the true or the opinions of the audience or the average moviegoer. Now you might have enough Disney zombies out there who will give these movies a positive rating, even though they're not very good, and that'll keep these movies like, in my opinion, Captain Marvel in the 50 to 60% range when they probably deserve to be in the 40s, uh, from what I heard. But then again, Marvel rarely ever puts out a true stinker. Their movies are always just good enough to be just, just meh and never really terrible. So I would say somewhere between 40 and 50 is right for that movie. And so after they deleted thousands of what they call troll reviews or fake reviews, the movie is still only in the around the 60% audience rating area. And that's as high as that movie can get, even with all of Rotten Tomatoes' help and Fandango's help. But this is what the Access Media does. They'll give the movie a 80%, 90% or whatever, even though the movie is pretty much garbage, and they'll give a good movie that doesn't fit their narrative or that doesn't come from Disney or that they're not getting special access or perks for. They'll give a good movie a 59%, 30%, things like that, where Alita was for a while, and 53% where she was for a while as well. And during those very, very important first couple of weeks, when the movie really needed to get some audiences and get some good word of mouth going, they had that writing symbol next to the name. When you look at Rotten Tomatoes, look at the website, you see the list of movies on the side, and you see that Rotten Tomato that splat next to Alita's name. So of course, Rotten Tomatoes knows they admitted that people go to their site to be informed, to be to get an opinion on what movies they should watch, what movies they should spend their money on. So they know damn well that when they put that Rotten Tomato next to Alita's title, they are swaying people away from seeing that movie. And when Captain Marvel comes in the theater and they put that fresh tomato next to that movie's title, while at the same time Alita is further down the list with the splat or the Rotten Tomato, people know what movie they're going to go see just by looking at that. They're not going to say, "Oh, let me go see what the Rotten Tomato is like." You know, they're not going to do that. So I meant to delete this one. Let's get rid of that one. So let's talk about Fandango here because they're related to Rotten Tomatoes. Fandango is an American ticketing company that sells movie tickets via their website as well as through their mobile app. Okay, Fandango. Um, Paul Yanover is a Canadian business executive. Yanover has been the president of Fandango LLC, an American ticketing company, since 2012. Before Fandango, Yanover spent 16 years working for the Walt Disney Company. So this the president of Fandango, spent 16 years working for Disney. I'm sure he met some people there who he still has connections with, who he's still maybe rubbing shoulders with. And I would not be surprised if that had any sort of impact on the way he runs his business of Fandango. Now, what else about Fandango? In October 2012, he was named president of Fandango, a ticketing company founded in 2000. Since becoming president, Yanover has expanded the company through acquisitions, including Movie Clips in 2014 and Rotten Tomatoes, a movie review site, in 2016. So he owns both Fandango and Rotten Tomatoes, and he has Disney connections. Worked for Disney for 16 years. Now, Rotten Tomatoes, I've shown this before. They have come out on their site and said that what their purpose is to give fans the most useful tools possible when making their entertainment decisions. And further down, we worked for some 21 years to ensure that the tomato meter is a trusted tool for those who want to know what critics think of movies and TV series. But the development of that trust didn't happen overnight. It was a process. We've been consistently evolving the tomato meter and how we select the critics whose opinions generated to meet the times. So this is where the verified um, ratings are also going to command the verified audience ratings. But just let me just go backtrack a little bit. They select critics based on what their opinions are. You think they're unbiased in these selections? No, they're not. And so when we have people like Khristian Harloff, who is willing to bend over backwards for Disney in order to get access to things like Galaxy's Edge. And when he doesn't get it, he's all pissed off, proving that he's really just in it for the access. He's in it for the perks, the benefits. Uh, he's expecting to get something out of this. This is what the access media is doing. Um, that's the shill. Harloff, you may not want to, you're a shill. You may not want to accept that, but that's what you are. You've exposed yourself. So these are the type of people who Rotten Tomatoes would take reviews from, right? Because they're in Disney pockets as well, just like Paul Hanover is. And even I'm not going to get into the whole the feminist sort of ideology that they like to also cater to. And I've covered that. We just look at the video that has the pink pussy hat wearing feminist in the thumbnail for that information. But so what they want to do now is control when you go to the website and you see here. Let me backtrack a little bit here. So when you see these ratings here, when you see the fresh tomatoes and the rotten tomatoes and the fresh popcorn bucket and the rotten or tipped over popcorn bucket, they don't want that. They don't want that optic anymore. What they want to try to do is to bring the audience rating more in line with their own biased and um, um, untrustworthy rating, really. So they don't want the audience to give The Last Jedi at 44%. So they're going to have verified ratings, which you must get through Fandango. We're about to find the information on that. With the IGN to get that. So you're going to have to verify. You're going to have to verify that you saw the movie, but not only that you saw the movie, but you will be required to provide. You will be required to buy tickets through Fandango. That's right. So once again, Fandango is going to gatekeep here in conjunction with Rotten Tomatoes on whose review is seen. So let me just read a little bit from here. For eligible movies from today onward, audience scores will include fans who have been confirmed to have purchased tickets to the movie they're reviewing, while all fans are still able to write a review regardless of if they've seen or regardless of if they've been verified for that movie. Those who have will display a verified badge with their written reviews. According to the official images shared by Rotten Tomatoes, verified and all audience review scores can be viewed separately. So you're going to have to actually look. You're going to have to take an extra step to see the all audience score. What you're going to see at first when you go to the website is the critic score and then the verified critic score. Now, they don't want to have, I may just read a little bit. Yeah, they don't want to have a great disparity like we've been seeing with Alita and The Last Jedi. See, to authenticate audience reviews, see, they're going to authenticate these now. You're going to have to, and to me, that's just another step that they can put in your way to also make sure that even if you do see the movie and that you can prove it, I think if your review doesn't fit what they want, I feel like they can still manage to block that somehow. I don't have proof yet, but we'll see how this works out. I wouldn't be surprised if people say that they've been verified and they've given their review, but their review still wasn't counted. I won't be surprised at all. So Rotten Tomatoes users can opt in to get their rating and review verified if they purchase their ticket through Fandango. So this is going to also benefit Fandango more because if you need to use Fandango instead of just using like whatever other service that you use to buy your tickets through, or just buying them at the theater, and this is just going to put more money in Fandango's pocket too. So it's just, to me, it's just corrupt all around. So eventually, AMC, Regal, and Cinemark theaters plan to participate as ticket purchase authenticators, so people who buy tickets from those theaters can have their reviews verified as well. We know from our research that fans consult Rotten Tomatoes audience score along with a tomato meter when making decisions on what to watch. That's why it was so important that they gave Alita that Rotten Tomato beside their movie title so that people would not see the movie. They said it was going to be a flop before the movie came out. They had all these media outlets coming out with these attacks against the movie, calling it whitewashed, calling it a man's fantasy of a powerful woman, and just cutting it down from every single angle, and all this negative press about the movie. And on top of that, they gave it a big old splat next to the title, knowing that that would deter people from seeing the movie. And thankfully, the movie did well, especially overseas in China. Thank you to all those China fans, those fans in China. Thank you to the fans around the world. Really, thank you everybody, whoever saw the movie. Thank you for supporting the movie. And so, due to that, and plus now the video sales, the streaming so far has been going very well. Um, Alita was #1 on Amazon for a while, and I think since they put the Lego Movie on sale, they kind of jumped back up a little bit. But when Alita was like, I think it was just last week, she was selling out. The movie was selling out at Best Buy and um, Walmart. So the Steelbook was selling out in various stores. So far things have been going pretty good, and this is going to put Alita over the, especially if we keep it up. I think it'll put the Alita movie well into the profitable area. So we're not too worried. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not too worried about the movie getting a sequel, especially when it comes to the profit, because it's going to make a profit. Let's keep going here. Let's see here. Said Fandango President Paul Yanover, having an audience score reviews from fans who are confirmed ticket purchasers will add even more usefulness to our product and increase consumer confidence. But here's the thing. So, like I said, you could still give the movie, you can be verified and still give a movie a bad review. They can't, like, what does making sure somebody saw the movie matter? It doesn't really, because they can still give the movie a bad review. And this is why I'm saying that ultimately this is just another way for them to track who's leaving what review, and also to have a better way to block people from being able to review movies. Because before, if you just logged in and just wrote your review, I mean, that was that. But now maybe if you have like you have to be verified, then it's almost like you have to be. I'm about to bring up an X-Men. I'm about to say you have to be part of, like, on the mutant registration program or something, where you have to register and be, it basically be a known entity, so that they can track you and control what you do, and not let you make decisions on their website that they don't want you to make. Especially when it comes to reviews. So, uh, but anyway, so this is the whole Khristian Harloff situation. He's going off as Access Media, who didn't get the access that he thinks he deserves after all of this stuff, after all of this shilling that he's done. And this just proves that the Access Media, that what we've been saying is not just conspiracy theory, it's fact. They do this. They're a bunch of shills. Rotten Tomatoes is a big shill site. Fandango is another shill what company, you know, and all of these people are easily manipulated by Disney, who either has past employees working in these companies or is giving access to these people, and they are giving Disney all of these good reviews and whatnot just for access, just for these perks, just for benefits. But hey, what is it? What is the profit of man to gain the world and lose his soul? You know, you gotta have some. You you can't put a price on your dignity. You can't put a price on your soul. You need to have some integrity. Don't sell out. Never sell out. And for those out there on YouTube who are willing to sell out in order to keep their access to this platform, in order to keep their access to higher viewability or higher visibility, you need to consider that as well. You know, what's the price? How much does your how much is your dignity, your self-respect, your honor, your soul, how much is that worth to you? Okay? So anybody can apply that message to their life. So anyway, thank you all for watching and listening.